Drew and Stu are on the air.
Ready? Right.
Whether you're fading with Drew or riding with Cam, this is the place to get your weekly NFL picks. Presented by Sports Interaction, Canada's sportsbook.
Everything you got, let's go.
Hello and welcome to the Super Bowl 57 edition of the Drew and Stu podcast. I'm Drew Livingstone. That's Cam Stewart. Cam, we're finally here. And the only person that had the Philadelphia Eagles on this show in the Super Bowl from the preseason was you, sir.
This
so
guy.
Give yourself a pat on the back.
I'm giving you a Barry Horowitz, Drew Eagle. But it was Eagles and Bills. And as usual, your Bills let us down like they do every year. But then again, hey, Cincinnati, chirp, chirp, chirp. That's the thing. What have we learned, Drew? And I tell you, remember, when we're too confident with a pick, never wins. When we start chirping, bad things happen. And I'll give Kansas City credit. They let Cincinnati do all the talking. Burrowhead, this and that. Shut up. Like, go in there. I know the reffing was bad, but you know what I've learned always?
The Bengals had their chances, though, Cam.
They did.
Can't blame
they did
them
have, no, they did have their chances. But it was a poorly officiated game, actually, on both sides. But I'm going to say this. Always walk quietly into the stuff. There's no need to talk. Let your actions do the talking, right? And now you see, like the Bengals, that's the problem with when you're too cocky with something. It'll come back and bite you in the ass. Hey, the right teams are here. Kansas City deserves it. And let's give Kansas City credit. You know me, Drew. I'm not a Kansas City fan and people are like, oh, Cam, why do you hate the Chiefs and whatever? You guys got to remember, I'm old. And when I grew up, the Seattle Seahawks were in the AFC West. And Kansas City used to beat the crap out of us. Denver used to beat the crap out of us. The Raiders, like those are the teams. Other Chargers, I don't mind them as much, but I hate that division. Like that division, those are my enemies. And as we got older, they put Seattle in the NFC, right, Drew? So that's where my hatred kind of comes from the old days. But I'll give Kansas City full marks. Mahomes hurt, and the way they battled in those games, let's give the Chiefs some love. Great
they picked off Burrow twice, and then the refs didn't make Burrow throw those interceptions. Let's be honest.
You're right.
And the refs called back a Chiefs touchdown. Like there was the refs calls against both ways. It wasn't just against the Bengals like people seem to make it. I mean that weird redo on the third down was ridiculous. I'll give them that, but they punted anyway. So yeah, I don't know. And we'll give the Eagles some credit. I know everyone's like, "Oh, Brock Purdy got hurt on the first series. Like the game wasn't fair and all this nonsense." Listen, he got hurt because their pass rush was just unstoppable. You got to give the Eagles defense some credit for hurting the quarterback. I mean,
another thing, let's call this out, Drew. And I know you and I, we watch every play and we have a keen eye. Jalen Hurts played that game hurt. Pardon the pun. You saw him. He was short-arming. He was short-arming balls. He was running for his life a couple times. The 49ers got pressure. I'm telling you, they didn't talk about that injury in that game. Why do you think he didn't take off like he usually does in the second half? They didn't need to do it because they already had a lead in that game. That's the thing. They had to protect him. I'm telling you, I thought he was more hurt than he was. The Eagles defense stepped up in the game. I know it was Josh Johnson and Brock Purdy was beat down, but still, let's give the Eagles full marks. They led the league in sacks this year with 70. Total defense, they're awesome. They're second in the league behind San Francisco. So you know what? The Eagles are damn good. They have a great secondary, a wicked pass rush. That's the thing about this matchup, Drew, that we can talk about. Kansas City's front four are killers too. Jones and Clark. And these guys. Yeah, like Frank Clark. I know Frank Clark, a Seahawks fan. Like I know these guys. Like they're very, very good. And that's the thing. Cincinnati, sure, you got away with it against Buffalo because it was snowing, and it helped you because you got no pass rush. In that game, they were exposed. The injuries on the offensive line, and Kansas City gets to the quarterback, and Philly gets to the quarterback. So I know everyone's talking over game. I'm just thinking right now, it's going to be close. It's hard to keep these offenses in check, buddy. But as we know, these defensive lines on both sides are good, real good.
And Cam, let's remember how Mahomes lost the last Super Bowl to Tampa. It was because their line couldn't hold up, and that Tampa pass rush just killed them all game. The Eagles have more sacks than the 85 Bears right now going to this game in a full season. Like that's crazy, Cam. The 85 Bears, they have 70 going in this game total, and they need 2 more to pass them, which let's be honest, they're probably going to get. But it's crazy that they have that many sacks, Cam, and you got to give them some credit. And Mahomes, if that ankle's not fully healed, like the only time we really saw him run was on that final play where he got pushed out of bounds with the stupid play by the defender. But yeah, and even that, it wasn't really a good run, right? So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. Everyone's on the Eagles saying like, oh, they haven't played anyone good, all this nonsense, yada yada. They're actually 9-1, Cam, this season against teams above 500. So that rhetoric might be a bit old.
you can only play who's on the schedule. It's not their fault. They're in a division with, with Washington and Dallas did, up and down. And
I'm seeing like, easiest path to the Super Bowl in NFL history. Like they didn't make their schedule. They beat the Giants and like Brock Purdy got hurt because of their defense.
Made the playoffs. Yeah. The Giants and Dallas both made the playoffs. See, that's another thing. And they blew out the Giants, who were one of the hotter teams. See, this is the thing. I get it. Kansas City had to play better teams. We'll give them that. But Philadelphia took care of their business at every step. So, you know what? Let's just give credit where credit's due to both sides. This is going to be a great Super Bowl, as the line indicates, almost a pick 'em. So, yeah, it's very tough to predict, Drew. I could see this game. You can make cases for both sides here.
Yeah, so let's get right into the game here, Cam. The Eagles are 1.5-point favorites at home. The total is 50.5. The line opened at Chiefs -1, and it's now swayed the other way. And the total was 51 to start. It's now down a half point. The public's on the Eagles here, Cam, 66%, almost 70% of the public. If you had to go right now, well, we know we're both going to be betting on this game. It's the friggin' Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But which side are you leaning on the spread? Are you even going to touch the spread, or are you going to go money line? Because it's so close, I feel like there's no point really betting the spread if you're going to go -1.5. Just bet the money line, right?
Good call, Drew. That's the thing on these shows. Like, they make us pick against the spread all the time, but I'm going to be honest with you. I don't even want to lay, or if I did, you wouldn't lay the 1.5. I'd lay 1.
Yeah, you pay even if they by win the half by point.
1. Yeah, like imagine they win by 1 the game and I have 1.5. Yeah,
you'd be pissed.
That's a fun Super Bowl, and it happens all the time. And people are like, "Oh, don't buy points and don't do whatever." As again, do whatever the hell you want to do. It's your money. I'm not going to tell you how to do it. And sometimes buying points is good. I will say this: I'm looking on a teaser at Philadelphia. I know you're not supposed to cross numbers, but it worked for me last week with Philadelphia and Cincinnati. That teaser won. Philadelphia plus 5.5 under 58 is going to be bet. Drew, I'm taking the Eagles on the money line in this game. I think it's going to be a real tight one. My final score that I told you, I'm seeing like 24-21, 24-20. That's the way I think the Eagles win this game. I think there is some defense in this game. I actually think there's going to be less penalties than people think because of what happened before. I think Roger Goodell is going to give the referees the message to, let them play a little bit more because it is a Super Bowl. People don't want to see the debacle that was the referees in the championship game. So that's what I'm looking at right now. I have a lean to the under. It's hard to bet it. I love the Eagles tease, and I like the Eagles, fly, Eagle, fly, on the money line to win this game by 3 or 4 points. So I might do a winning margin bet too. Those bets are always fun, guys. Drew, check it out on Sports Interaction.
Yeah, if you can like bet the 1 to 6.
Yeah, like 1 to 6 is perfect. And hey, even if you want to do the 7 to 10, it's plus money. But I think on both sides, if Kansas City wins between 1 and 6 and Philly between 1 and 6, I'm flying with the Eagles.
Cam, I think this game has the possibility to be a blowout either way as well. Like I know you're confident being close, but I think if the Eagles pass rush can get to Mahomes the way the Tampa Bay one did, I think this could get ugly on the Eagles side. I think the Eagles could win by 10 plus. But personally, I think just the Eagles, I know everyone's saying their schedule doesn't matter. They're 9-1 against above 500 teams, but they haven't really played a Mahomes-esque quarterback this season. Yeah, you can say Dak Prescott, but really you're going to put Dak Prescott in the same level as Mahomes? You're not. His weapons aren't the same, but he's got Travis Kelce. MVS looks good. He looked great in the AFC Championship game. Tony, they traded for him. They don't use him. He can't stay on the field, Cam. Yeah. I'm leaning Chiefs here. The plus, if I have to pick against spread plus 1.5, so I will be betting the Chiefs money line. I just think we're seeing some history stuff, and I just don't know if Sirianni's ready for this stage. Like Andy Reid off a bye, Cam, is just unbelievable in his career, and I don't know. Like I know Sirianni's one of the big spots if you count the San Fran game, but I don't count that game because Purdy got hurt. I know it's because their defense. I know it's because Eagles played well, but it just wasn't that big of a spot.
Drew, let's give Sirianni some credit though.
Oh, for sure.
When I watch a lot of football, nobody makes better adjustments in game than Philadelphia this year. Like they're one of the best. We watched their games. They know when to run the ball. They know when to throw the ball. They know when to protect Hurts. So I agree with you. Andy Reid is a genius with this much time, but Sirianni also worked for Andy Reid. So these guys are reading each other's mail. That's kind of why I think we can talk about the under. I think these guys kind of know punch, counter punch, right? Like it's like me and you, say we're on the same team or we played against each other. I know the way you tend to think and you know the way I tend to think. So maybe they have to do things outside the box, but I'm going to say both coaches are very, very good and prepared. So maybe there's more defense than we think.
Well, look what we saw. We saw San Fran and Philly hit the under. We saw Josh Allen against Joe Burrow hit the under when everyone thought that was going over. Yeah. We saw Mahomes against Burrow hit the under when everyone thought that was going over. Sometimes when it's just two top-tier offenses, The defense is just know how to stop them. I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's just like they just don't show up as well. It's just like when we saw the Rams against the Patriots, everyone was like, oh, this is going to be a high scoring game. The Rams, greatest show on turf, 2.0.
Yeah.
And they scored 3 points in the Super Bowl.
I remember the other Rams Patriots game. That was a debacle a few years ago, right? I'm like, I got to Drew, I didn't tell you. I was in New York for that game, and I had like a huge teaser to the under. I go, wow, third line, I need this kick. People are like looking at me like I'm crazy. The game was already lost. Rick's had that teaser, super shank. I'm like, great. Now I've lost every bet. Oh, that Super Bowl was a disaster with McVay. He was a deer in the headlights that game. Like, he was almost like, wow, I'm in the Super Bowl. What do I do now? Like, it wasn't Goff's fault. It was freaking the coach had no game plan.
Yeah, it was almost like the Patriots Falcons one. I was pumped. I had the Falcons on the money line before the game, and it looked great.
What a day that was! Oh, I remember I was working at Shoeless Joe's for the guy. The manager of the bar bet New England live when they were like, well, I forget what it was. Was it like 18 to? I forget the number. It was
28-3.
Yeah, it was 28-3. He bet them live money line, and he ended up winning. He told me like 30 grand. Like, he put like a couple grand on. He made it kill it.
Yeah, it was like the buddy who got on a date with Eugenie Bouchard because he live tweeted her. Like, that was just just nonsense. Cam, okay, well, we so you like the Eagles, I like the Chiefs. We both like the under, surprisingly. Yep. We saw some predictions on Twitter, some Madden Sims, and all of these Madden Sims have the game going like 34-30, 42-37, all this crazy fireworks, which, granted, that would be an amazing game to watch. It'd be Brady Foles 2.0. I don't know if you remember that Super Bowl. It was just score.
Great Super Bowl.
I just don't know if we're seeing that here, Cam. So let's get into some player props. And for the viewers, we're going to do another show this week where we go over all the fun props, the Rihanna first song, the national anthem, all the stuff that you're going to be betting on at your Super Bowl parties when you get that quiz sheet to try and win that contest. Or if you want to lay actual money on that stuff, you can. It's available everywhere. It's just, I don't know if I like to lay real money, Cam, on these dinky props. Do you?
Yeah, Drew, because I just gamble. Like, I'm not going to say everything. Like, the thing is, I'm not going to tell a regular guy, wow, this is a smart thing to do. Like, this is the same guy, Drew. When I get together with my friends, we like throw like money in the pile and just flip cards, and the best hand wins. So it's called Showdown. Anyway, I just like action and fun, but no, we'll bet more on the real props, but we'll have some fun with it. I'm not going to say I'm going to like put crazy amounts of money on it, but sprinkle and have some good time. It's a Super Bowl.
Well, quickly, Cam, what's your favorite Rihanna song? What's the one that it comes out in the car and you're like, yeah, Cam's singing along to this one?
I don't even know how to answer your question, Drew. Like, I don't have a favorite Rihanna jam. Like,
are you sure? You seem like an umbrella guy. Like,
I do like the umbrella.
I can picture you jamming that in your car on the way to pick up some wings or something on Sunday.
Oh. Speaking of wings, I got to go pick up a batch. They're on sale this week. I got to get a case.
I just got 5 pounds today for $40 at the old COSTCO.
Yeah, good value, Drew. Yeah. You hit that place, and it's I feel sorry for poultry Super Bowl Sunday. They're the real losers.
Oh yeah. So like, are you doing a whole spread? Are you going to a Super Bowl party? How's that working for you?
No, I did some stuff earlier. I've worked. This is actually one of the first years, Drew, I haven't worked like a bar gig, and I talked to my girlfriend. We're going to have a quiet day at home. We're literally it's going to be just bottles of vodka, beer.
So it's just going to be the raging redhead stressing out at home with money on the line.
Yeah. Well, she's seen it all before. She was with me when the Bills got throttled by the Bengals. She's like, Cam, what's the problem? You look even like worse than usual. Like, oh, my teasers are toast too. Like, I am getting like absolutely slapped upside the head here. Like, Buffalo Gator, I could buy Buffalo to like, what, 17? Like, they couldn't cover any number, Drew. No. Like, she could tell by my facial tones like how good things are going. But anyway, our buddy's a big Eagles fan too. I know a couple people. I know a guy who's a Chiefs fan too. But I'll be at home, just lots of liquor. I'm going to do the same thing as you. I'm just going to have a mega feast with a shrimp ring, wings, that type of stuff, some nachos and dip. That's the way I'm going to roll.
So I host a Super Bowl party every year. We have like 30 people over,
nice.
all of our friends from back in the day. And
dude,
one of them.
Meanie?
Yeah, well, he's in Nova Scotia now, but yeah, he would be there. So one of them is a really big Eagles fan, Cam. So what I'm doing, just to piss him off, because I'm a troll, it just makes me laugh. My wife is making a bunch of Kansas City Chiefs shirts on her cricket. So I'm handing them out to everybody that comes in that isn't him, so that when he comes in, everyone's going to be rocking the Chiefs logo just to piss him off. So I think it'll either make him very angry and be like, I don't want to be here with this, or he'll laugh it off, which I don't know, because like you can be stressed out hard, Cam, when your team's in the Super Bowl. I haven't experienced it as a fan. So
I have. As a Seahawks fan, I've never been the popular side like in any Super Bowl. Like I remember, like Steeler fan, I was doing at that Super Bowl, we were outnumbered huge, almost like 80-20%. The Denver Super Bowl, which we won, was like Denver 75-25. Like Seattle, like, you know what I mean? It's just one of those things. They've never been that team. So I've always had everyone against. You're right. Buddy could lose his mind. No, but he'll laugh. Drew, he's a friend. Like it's a good, you're right. You are a troll for doing that, but at least you're a creative troll.
Yeah, exactly. I think it could be funny. Just like Go Chiefs or something shirts. Cam, the Seattle Seahawks against the Broncos Super Bowl was probably the least bet team I've ever seen, the Seahawks, in that game, because everyone loved the Broncos that year. Oh, Peyton threw 55 touchdowns. This offense can't be stopped.
I'll tell you a story about that Super Bowl. It started off, I remember back in the day too. I forget why, but we're like, first score is going to be a safety. We did it because it was like,
you bet that?
Yeah. And it was like, when insane. I saw that ball go over Manning's head, I'm like, my eyes lit up like a Christmas tree. I'm like, unbelievable. So I was at Shoeless with like a couple Seahawk fans. It was Denver Nation there, Billy the Doorman. We had Seattle live, alternate line, first quarter, first half game. It was, and they murdered Denver. Like,
it wasn't
Percy
even close.
Harvin, remember in the second half, you're like, Denver's going to come back. Percy Harvin takes the punt, touchdown, Seahawks. I'm like, woo! And I look at the Bronco fans there. They're like, ready, okay. I go, okay, I got to shut up here. But it was like financially, probably the most lucrative Super Bowl. Like it was, Let's just say it made up for the money I lost in the Pittsburgh Super Bowl. Which
I was a big Peyton Manning guy, so I was Johnny Public that day, and I was not happy. As soon as that ball went over his head, I was like, "Oh, this game's going to be a nightmare." But I was back on the Broncos when they faced Carolina, so I made money back then. When Cam Newton decided not to fall on a fumble because he was too scared of it.
That's right. Forgot about it.
What a joke. Okay, Cam, let's get into some props. Tell the fans and the viewers what your let's go in order. We'll do one each at a time. We have 3 each. What's your bronze prop for this Sunday?
My bronze prop is going to be Devonta Smith over 23.5 for longest reception. One thing I know, I think AJ Brown is going to be somebody that the Chiefs are really going to try to bracket and target. But the one thing about Smith, and he wasn't good against San Francisco, but as I told you, Hurts was short arming balls. I think he's going to be a lot healthier now.
And his no catch, remember?
And the no catch, which, but what do, Drew? You know Eagles football. They go deep to Smith. He's a deep threat. That's what he does. So I think if he gets a catch, it'll be over 23.5 yards. I also like his over for receiving, but I'm going to take longest reception over 23 yards. I actually think he has the huge game. He's the big receiver for the Eagles, and I would not be shocked if they hit him deep a couple times over 23 yards. So that's my bronze selection. Smith over 23.5 longest reception.
Yeah, and especially if you like the Eagles to win like you do, it means they're going to complete some big plays like that. So I think that's a great bet, especially if you're on the Eagles side of this game. My bronze, Cam, will be total rushing yards, Pacheco and Sanders combined, over 108 yards. I think this game you'd see a bunch of running, and that means I need 50 from one side and 60 from the other, or whatever mixture of that, 70 and 35, whatever, 70 and 38, sorry. So yeah, I think that's an easy prop to hit the over. I should never say easy because when I'm confident, it never hits.
Don't say easy. Remember to say I feel good about it.
Yeah, but I feel good about this one. I think we're going to see a lot of Pacheco because I think McKinnon has just like fallen out of favor for some reason recently. It's end of the season, he was getting used totally, but now it's like it's the Pacheco show. So I think that'll continue in the Super Bowl, Cam. Tell us your silver prop.
Silver prop, and I'll give our boy Sean Green. He was on our network, Drew. He's a big Eagles fan, and he actually brought this one to the attention of me and Morency when we were doing the show. Mahomes under 9.5 yards first completion. It's kind of a weird prop, but I thought about it. I go, you know what? I love this prop because I know what Kansas City is going to do. Little dinks and dunks. I wouldn't be surprised. And I wouldn't be surprised if they give Kelsey like a quick hitter for like 5 right at the start of the game. I don't think the first completion will be over 10 yards. It's kind of a weird prop, but I think it's a really good one. I think Kansas City to negotiate or to try to tame Philadelphia's very good pass rush, as we mentioned, leading the league with 70 sacks, quick hitters, but I don't think they get 10 yards on that play. I think it's for like 3 or 4. Give me under first completion, Mahomes, under 9.5 yards, Drew. Kind of a weird one, but I got to give Sean credit. When he told me that prop, I go, I love it.
I love that one too, Cam. I think the only way you lose that prop is if Kelsey catches that 5 yard and like turns around
breaks
and no
2 tackles.
Yeah, he just jumps for the first down. I think that's the only way you see that. So quickly before, I don't like this prop, but first play of the game, you're leaning past that, I'm assuming. Like you can bet the rusher versus pass.
I'm and pass is plus pass. 1. I'm leaning pass for two reasons. One, if Kansas City wins the toss, they'll always defer. I think Philadelphia will probably get the ball first, and I think Philly will take a shot early in this game. And then conversely, if Kansas City ends up with the ball, I think Mahomes with that pass rush is going to want to get warmed up with a quick little hitter, a quick little hitch pass. So that's I kind of agree with what you're saying there, but asking 10 yards on a play like that, I think is a lot. So I'm going to take the under.
I agree with you, Cam. I think it's going to go under as well, unless something crazy happens. My second favorite prop, Cam, is Dallas Goedert to have more receiving yards than Travis Kelce. It's plus 410. I think Dallas Goedert's going to beat Kelce in this game. I think the Eagles, you shut down Kelce, that's your game plan. I think the Chiefs can win without using Kelce. We saw it last week, MVS against the Bengals. He was the guy that Mahomes went to. I think we can see the same thing. And if anyone's going to slow down Kelce, it's that Eagles defense.
That's bold sauce right there. And because it's plus 410, if you win, you get, in my opinion, you get 2 for the price of 1 there. You get double 2-0 if that one hits, because it's plus 410.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs are going to try and shut down the receivers, Cam, and it's going to be Hurts to Goddard over the middle a bunch. And I just love that prop. What's your favorite prop in this game, Cam, and why?
Gold prop. I think we're reading each other's mail. I got it at 49.5, guys. By the time of taping with Drew and I, it's 50.5 now. Jump on it early. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing hits like 54.5 by game time. Jalen Hurts over 50.5 yards rushing. As I mentioned before, it opened 49. People started hammering this thing. Mm-hmm. I love it. The San Francisco game, that was just an off script. Hurts, I still think he was hurt. I think there was something wrong there. San Francisco, they didn't need to run the ball due to the Purdy injury. That game plan got shifted quickly. If Philadelphia is going to be in this game, Hurts, it's a one game. It's the Super Bowl. He is going to have plan runs, design runs, running for his life. This is the thing. He's a maniac. And I think he might rush for 100 yards in this game. So give me Jalen Hurts over. I think he absolutely goes nuts. I also like him for an anytime touchdown at plus 110. But my gold pick is Jalen Hurts over 50.5 rushing yards.
Yeah, I love that pick as well. Like you said, I'm not going to give it as my goal just so we can be a little bit different, but I will be betting heavily on that prop. My only worry is that he hasn't done it in the last 2 games, but he hasn't had to.
I know.
It's been blowout games, and he was close. He was 34 against the Giants and 39 against San Fran. That was in blowout games. So if it's close, I think like you said, he'll take off these unscripted runs on 3rd down, 3rd and 15. He can get those plays, Cam. So I agree with you. I think he goes way over that 50 number. I'm thinking 75 yards as well. They're going to pull out all the stops in this game. It's the Super Bowl. There's no point in saving anything and put your whole body on the line. He might be diving for 5 yards, all that. My gold, Cam, will be total sacks, Frank Clark over 0.5. It's plus 200. I think Clark gets a sack in this game. He's up for Defensive Player of the Year, one of the best pass rushers in football. I know Hurts is mobile and he's tough to bring down, but I think he can get 1 sack in this game. And at 2-1, I think I have to lay my money on it. If you needed another mineral like a copper or a bronze, it's Frank Clark, Super Bowl MVP, Cam. I think the Chiefs win. I think if they do win, it's because of Frank Clark's pass rush, getting to Hurts 2, 3 times maybe. If he gets 2 or 3 sacks and the Chiefs win, I know everyone's like, oh, it's always Mahomes. It's always the quarterback. It's not always. We saw Von Miller win it recently. Defensive players win the Super Bowl MVP all the time, Cam. Cooper Kupp last year, it wasn't the quarterback. So I think Frank Clark at 63-1. If you think the Chiefs win and you want something other than Mahomes, I think he's the next best Chief. Do you agree with me?
I don't know if I agree with you, but one thing I know is if you hit the bets, you and your woman are like upgrading. You might get a sauna, an outdoor pool. 63-1, 4-1. You are really going for. I'm going to call you Vinny Value instead of Camera 2 Drew. You're really going for it, Drew. I got to tell you, you'll have an extension, or maybe you could have another kid.
Cam, if he forces a fumble, if he forces and recovers a fumble, like if it's a low scoring game, like we both think, that means the quarterbacks aren't going to be the MVP unless you see Hurts get 2 anytime touchdowns.
Drew, I love it. Like, I love your kahunas right now. You got balls of steel right now. That some of these bets that you're rolling out. But anyway, hey, I'm on the Eagles, but you're right. The thing is, if Mahomes just plays an average game and they absolutely the defense gets fumble recovery, sacks and stuff, they might give it to an offensive player. I agree.
So who would be your defense player on the Eagles then if you think they're going to win? Be Reddick?
Yeah, Reddick or maybe Samuel.
Fair. Okay. Yeah. And they're both over 30-1. So, I mean, it's just, you got to throw a little sprinkle. It's the Super Bowl, Cam. It's worth throwing $20 on something crazy.
Drew, like that. We're going to be doing a lot of sprinkling. I'm just thinking if I feel that way about Hurts, I'm going to probably say he's going to be the MVP if I think he runs for a touchdown and over 100 yards. So that's
what about Hurts? Hurts to score 2 touchdowns then?
I might do that. And I'm also going to take Hurts first touchdown of the game.
I like it. I like it, Cam. Okay, one quick prop before we get out of here, Cam. Well, like I said, we will be doing the fun props, everything like that later in the week, so keep your eye out for that. But for this one, last prop before we get out of here, jersey number of the first touchdown score, Cam, over 11.5 or under 11.5. If you want the player names for each thing, I can list them off for you. I got them all right here.
No, I go under. I'm going to go under with Hurts.
Fair, number one. And it's funny, if you go under 11.5, you also get Jerick McKinnon, Devontae Smith, Juju, Pacheco, AJ Brown, and Valdez Scantling.
I like the under, Drew.
Yeah, and it's minus 120. So it's pretty even bet. I mean, I might
bet again. I got to write this one down.
So jersey number of the first touchdown score over under 11.5. And if you go
see, you should have saved that one for the second show. That's
we can bring it up there too. There's no rules against this, Cam. I can bring it up there as well.
Jersey number of first TD score 11.5 is the number.
Yeah. So if you go over, the big name is Gainwell, Mahomes, Watkins, Tony, Sanders, Kelsey, Goddard. So you get both tight ends with Miles Sanders. That's all you're worried about, I think, if you pick the over. Or
I love the under. And what is it? 120? You said?
Yeah, minus 120. It's plus 110 for the over.
That is a really good bet. That's a good find there, Drew.
But yeah, I like the under in this one as well, just because you got all the big names there. Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, and Hurts. Like, the Eagles score, the only one you're worried about is Goddard and Sanders taking that touchdown.
Yes, I agree.
And then you got McKinnon and Juju and Pacheco. Pacheco could easily get that first touchdown, Cam. If they're at the 1 yard line, they just give him a run. Yeah. So I think you're only worried about the tight ends on this spot. But I do love that prop, and I thought you would too. So that's it, guys. The Super Bowl is this Sunday. I like the Chiefs. Cam likes the Eagles. We both like the under. It's been a hell of a season, Cam. As always, fun doing this with you. We have one more episode with the props. And then the show will continue in some capacity after football is done. We can do some March Madness, some Masters, some hockey, some basketball. We'll be around. It just won't be football focused. Maybe some episodes here and there where we do like top QBs, maybe some NFL draft stuff, maybe some XFL, Cam, if you're interested.
Yeah, no, I am interested in all sports, Drew. Actually, we hit Justin Rose 25-1 last week with the golf, so maybe I'll have some golf picks for majors and stuff. Yeah, basically, Drew, if it's big enough, yeah, we'll continue. We'll let's just say this, Drew, we'll bet on everything. If it moves, we'll bet on it, right?
Yeah, just it's true. It's a fault of both of ours. We're like, ooh, we can bet on this. All right, sure. Yes. Let's throw some money on it. Exactly. But yes, thank you for joining us once again. All lines are powered by Sports Interaction Canada Sportsbook. 19 plus. Please play responsibly, Cam. Good luck with your bets this Sunday. We will see you later in the week to discuss Rihanna's first song, which I know you're going to be saying you hope is Umbrella because it's your favorite jam in the world.
It sure is. Go Umbrella.
This has been Drew and Stu, presented by Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook. Follow Drew at Producer Drew and Cam at Cam Stewart Live. May the winners be yours and all of the best bets hit.